TIL chocolate chip cookies are only 85 years old. During lunch, the lunch ladies would bake cookies and sell them for $50. If I see someone sell cookies anywhere, I buy them just to see if they taste anything similar to those cookies. It was the best tasting cookies ever. Have yet to find that same tasting flavor of chocolate chip cookies. Also Cocoa Joe's cookies from Guam. Help me get the required karma so I can get to the exchange some goodies from Guam. The chocolate chip cookie is older than the chocolate chip. Originally they were made with cut up chocolate bars. After they became popular, companies started selling the chips we know of today. Also, they were invented in the Toll House Inn. Toll House brand has its origins in the creation of chocolate chip cookies. Nestle traded the rights to the recipe for a lifetime supply of chocolate. To honor the cookie's creation in the state, on July 9, 1997, Massachusetts designated the chocolate chip cookie as the official state cookie, after it was proposed by a third-grade class from Somerset, Massachusetts. Some third grader, "Hey, chocolate chip cookies are cool, we should make them the official state cookie." Everyone else, "Sure, no arguments here." The thing that always amazes me is that Oreos were around long before 1912, the chocolate chip cookie. But Hydrox, often believed to be a knockoff Oreo, were around even longer. 1908. Nabisco just was too big to sue and Oreos were better selling. And I basically am of the opinion that Oreos and chocolate chip cookies are the only truly acceptable cookie types. I mean, people had chocolate for hundreds of years. You honestly believe millions of people baking, not one of them thought, "I wonder if we can make cookies with this?" Just because it wasn't written down doesn't mean people weren't doing it. Shit, people were adding chocolate to cake in the 1800s. Seems like most things we take for granted are relatively recent inventions. Liquor has only been around for like 250 years. Pepperoni was invented 100 years ago. Paper clips and zippers weren't a thing 150 years ago. It's crazy how much stuff has happened in a relatively short period of time. I guess chocolate is from the Americas and wheat is from the Europe, so there wasn't a possibility to make them for a lot of history. That still leaves a few 100-year time window open though. Did we have cookies with chocolate in the dough, just not individual chocolate chip cookies? And how old is a chocolate chip? Originally, the cookies were made from bars chunked into chips. That's fun to say. Nestle didn't start selling them in their present form, tiny morsels in a kiss shape, until 1941. Here's a case where we know it was the chicken first, then the egg. This is weird. I literally have a recipe from my grandma, born in 1912, who made them as a teenager with her mom. They were a variation of the brownie, basically flattened, to make them crispier. Maybe popularized, but they have been around longer than 1938. There was a huge bake-off some time ago with a grandma's own recipe taking the cake 1 mil, I think. Every day I want those cookies. I've never had one, but every single day I think about those cookies. Edit a grandma's own recipe. OG shit. Not commercial. That's pretty close to the timeline when the food giants used the military or hired henchmen to take over the lands that were good for growing cocoa, coffee beans, sugar, fruit and such. Give or take a decade or two. Thanks, food giants. There are currently elected politicians making policy decisions for everyone in this country who can remember a time before the invention of chocolate chip cookies. Let that sink in, then go get a cookie to calm down. Apparently not true. Drop cookies with grated up chocolate show up from at least 1877. And chocolate chip cookies were being sold in the 1920s. I don't know, I'm pretty sure a documentary on NBC where a woman from NYC claimed her French grandmother invented a chocolate chip cookie. Unfortunately, the recipe was lost in a fire. According to my own scientific research into chocolate chip cookie design, the optimal number of chips per cookie is 13. That's 3 chips per cookie quadrant plus 1 central chip. So Oreos are even older than chocolate chip cookies? That's so weird to me. That's not even mentioning Hydrox, which is even older. Who the fuck names something you eat Hydrox? What's up with all these TIL X's only 80 years old posts? That's plenty old. That makes sense, I'm not surprised by this or the pepperoni one. Probably fucking bots. Fun fact, most items that have chocolate in it is illegal barman by USA law. Nearly all products that use the word chocolate is over 75 fake chocolate. So if this is so surprising for you, what did you think how old chocolate cookies were? And why? And you might not Google how old the public internet is. I was shocked a few years ago when I was talking to a friend of mine from Germany who explained that chocolate chips just aren't a common thing there. Fresh Subway double chocolate cookie is one of the tastiest things I can put in my mouth. When they're not fresh, that's a different story. I told my 90-year-old GM this today and she replied, "I'll just tell people I'm older than the chocolate chip cookie when they ask how old I am now." Smiley face. I'd imagine baked chocolate sweets is older. It's that chocolate chips are more of a factory creation, and factories are relatively recent. For some reason, this doesn't surprise me at all. I can't picture anyone from more than 100 years ago eating a chocolate chip cookie. Lol. Yeah, Neiman Marcus used to charge unwitting guests for the recipe, but we can show them by mailing this to 10 of your friends. The ancient Romans had Toll House chocolate chips but never figured out how to incorporate them into a sweetbread product. Well, the first chocolate bar is from 1847. Why would you be shocked that chocolate chip cookies are only 85 years old? Ah, so this is the second food item that today I learn is younger than Dianne Feinstein, the other being the Cobb salad. They were invented in my hometown. I was on the cooking channel for it as a small babe. Not that small, elementary. And pepperoni pizza wasn't invented until 1950. Crazy how nobody thought of putting these two ingredients together. Milk chocolate is only 148 years old. It took 63 years to go from no milk chocolate to chocolate chip cookies. I don't know, dude. Sounds way past the expiration date to me. I'd try not to let mine get that old. I'm just spitballing here, but it likely coincided with the industrialization of chocolate production, a wonderful invention. I'm pleased that chocolate chips are readily available in my country too. We never would have moved past the caves if we had fresh baked chocolate chip cookies in there. That's because they're the best cookie ever created, and if you don't agree, meet me out back. Why are they called cookies when you bake them? They should be called chocolate chip bakies. What kind of cookie is a chocolate chip cookie if it was plain no chocolate morsels? One day after having kids you realize it's your time to step up and make them for your kid. Look at the ingredients. Unless you were rich you weren't getting all of that much sooner. American is chocolate chip cookies, cookie. Friggin' scumbag apple pie wasn't even invented here. Slightly younger than pepperoni, it feels like a deep impact Armageddon day on Reddit, a food combination only 7 years older than my mom. It's really weird when I think about it. Just told my grandma she was thrilled to find out she's as old as chocolate chip cookies. You'd be surprised how new anything that requires our highly refined modern flours is. The age of chocolate cookies depend on how many sugar lumps you spend on your grandma's. The cookies I bought and ate before can't have been any more than few months old. It's such a big part of many cultures. You'd think they've been around for 1,000 years. My grandfather and chocolate chip cookies are the same age, and from the same state. My daughter recently baked a batch that tasted like they were much older than that. By my calculations, chocolate chip cookies were 69 years old when I was born. Nice. Dianne Feinstein is 90. She predates the chocolate chip cookie. Let that sink in. Saturday, July 15, 2023, 9:33 p.m. CST. I love chocolate chip cookies. Yep, and I have an autographed book by the creator. First edition, thanks Grandpa. Keebler's discontinued their standard chocolate chip cookies and I'm devastated. No wonder my grandmas were so into making them. They were new to them as kids. Pre-sliced bread is only 95 years old. Most modern conveniences are very new. I'll still eat them. My wife won't keep anything past the expiration date. I'm rather curious about when Betty White discovered how awesome these are. The place it was invented, the Toll House, and is now a Wendy's parking lot. Some own brand ones in my local supermarket taste like they're that old. I remember when they first invented chocolate. Sweet chocolate. I want some fresher cookies. And it was my joke too stale for this sub. I mean, did you think they were eating Chips Ahoy at Plymouth Rock? Shit. I thought they were made fresh. Won't they run out eventually? 85 years old? But Grandma said she made a fresh batch this morning. So my grandmother was 14 when chocolate chip cookies were invented. Any food made with baking soda powder is relatively modern food. The chocolate chip cookie is to Joe Biden what the McRib is to me. Curious to know how old I thought they were hundreds of years, and they were first baked at the, wait for it, Toll House INN. I thought they were a bit stale. I'll bake a new batch tomorrow. Still fresh after all these years? Sure, I'll try to. This is a real BC they should use in history. Before cookie. Some of the ones I've eaten from Subway were, that's for sure. I actually live in the town they were invented. Whitman, Massachusetts. Imagine what they would taste like if they were 300 years old. False. I had some today that were less than 10 minutes old. You've seen that, haven't you? Now I need to know how old cookies and chocolate chips are. That's still a long time. They gotta be stale by now. Weird. The date on mine says they were made last week. Before that, They were called chocolate block cookies. I've never eaten an 85-year-old chocolate chip cookie. I fully intend to overreact on its 100th anniversary. You can get much fresher ones than that where I live. William Shatner is older than chocolate chip cookies. Dianne Feinstein is older than chocolate chip cookies. Ranch dressing was invented within the last 75 years. Pepperoni on pizza. Yeah. That started in 1919. Betty White was older than the chocolate chip cookie. The first widely available chocolate bar was in 1866. I found some in my cupboard that were about that old. Till my grandma is older than chocolate chip cookies. They're younger than Iowa Senator Charles Grassley. And Kroger chip mates are starting to taste like it. Age is only a dozen. Nom nom nom.